Greetings, my internet friends. Welcome to Walking and Talking, the show where I walk and talk. I think that what is needed right now is a total abandonment of any thoughts of prudence or modesty or composure, just simply in order to begin talking, because it immediately seems like such a dumb and narcissistic idea. But I think that, but I don't honestly feel it right now. That is, I think I should be embarrassed of how stupid and inarticulate and pointless this type of talking is. But honestly, I feel fine about this so far, as in, I don't mind at the moment that logically it seems pointless. I'm trying to narrate whatever it seems to be that seems relevant to narrate about this quote-unquote experience happening quote-unquote now in quote-unquote real time, as in I recognize that is the preconceived idea of what I should be talking about, or the way I should be talking. I have this preconceived idea that I should be talking in a way that evades preconceived ideas. But then it seems to me that even this thought of evasion is kind of like an Ouroboros, as in it destroys itself, as in like as if I'm trying to escape something, but actually it this notion of the absence of whatever it is I'm trying to escape, which would be the solid or the logical or the preconceived. This absence is actually an object that I would be striving for. But even the notion of striving, or this directionality, like there's a directionality implied, or an orientation, if you will, implied in this idea of trying to evade something, or to move into the undefined or unknown, or perhaps unknowable. This orientation itself is made up of the known, or is a manifestation of the known, I think. But now at this juncture, in kind of grasping around for the thing to say next, I'm presented with the option of analyzing what's been said so far, because at this moment I realize that there's apparently a train of thought already in effect that could be continued, it seems. Where that train of thought would lead, I'm not so sure. However, I'm continuing to examine this question of whether or not I am indeed oriented, and whether orientation is inescapable, and whether or not it's a problem. I mean, when I asked if it is indeed inevitable, then it would seem that it wouldn't be useful to categorize it as a problem. As in, if something is inevitable, then it's not a problem. But then I guess also if something is evitable, then maybe in that sense it's also not necessarily a problem. However, this seems like minutiae in a way that's not necessarily desirable. However, I also hold it in my mind that nothing that I could possibly say is particularly desirable. And so strategies at filling time are perfectly acceptable. I do have this sense, not exactly a sense actually, I have the thought that everything that I say is creating a type of problem, because everything that I say is distinguishing something from something else, and in some sense, therefore, unnecessarily chopping up reality into separate parts or creating separateness. But then as I hear myself say this, it sounds a little bit ridiculous. I mean, not quite ridiculous, but it strikes me as untrue that this is a problem to arbitrarily, if you will, create separateness. The notion that separateness is a problem. I mean, in some sense, I could think of them. I could think of separateness and problemness as, in some way, the same thing. As in the identification at all, any sort of identification necessarily is a limitation that adds a problem type of quality to reality, and that problemness could manifest in many ways, such as the imperative to sustain whatever particular mode of identification over a period of time into the foreseeable future or even unforeseeable future, and also the drive to expand any particular mode of identification over space, whether that be apparent material space or conceptual or symbolic space or abstract space. An example of that being the need to control or to expand power, or expand what's perceived as property. That is, expand what is identified with. So I'm kind of saying examples of ways in which the problematic aspect of reality can appear. But at the same time, I also think that the problematic nature of reality isn't exactly a problem, as in having problems isn't exactly a problem. Or the apparent separateness isn't a problem. I think that. As in being identified as a limited individual is not a problem. Which is to say that having problems isn't a problem, which is what I just said. As in, for me to continue talking and to be quote unquote dividing up reality by the use of words, but also, for instance, well, let me just say that the way that I'm talking now seems to be dealing with some kind of assumed possibility of non-separateness, of like some kind of unity or something like that, or non-duality or something like that, or dealing with the possible alternative to what language is doing in terms of dividing. It seems as if everything that I'm saying here seems to be alluding to some possibility of non-separateness, and therefore an absence of any problem. And why is that? Why is there this implication? It's as if even this implication is part of the problem, and sure it is. This the possibility of salvation or something is an integral part of the problem. The feeling that things could be better. I mean, sure, of course. This is a problem, but I mean, like I said before, I feel as if I could repeat this endlessly. That's not a problem, but it is. That man, I feel drawn to saying these incredibly simple things that I know that I've said a million times before. Simply trying to describe this aspect of reality, or like, I mean, almost like trying to describe as simply as possible what experience is like in the most fundamental ways, like experience itself, not qualities of it, not particular characteristics of localized and temporalized experience, but trying to describe experience as a whole, on the whole. Of course, everything that I will say is, you know, not it, and necessarily inadequate. But then that even that fact, the fact that I can't, seems expressive of it. That it's never like that. No description can quite grasp it at all or encompass it. That any description would be not enough or would be in a way wrong. This actually, that phenomenon itself feels descriptive of it. That reality is eternally incomplete. I mean, like so perfectly incomplete that it's like it's not even here. And I mean, I can sort of extrapolate like these sort of examples of how this sort of manifests in life, or in something like in human experience. For instance, as the sort of perpetual emotional disequilibrium that like, when have you ever felt perfect? When have you ever felt like, oh, I'm simply existing, and this experience is complete? Like, have you ever experienced like the completeness of experience? And even if you were to tell me that you have, I would say that the impermanence of that feeling means that it's not complete. That's fleeting or whatever. I mean, your standard Western Buddhist stuff about how you can't grasp onto anything. But furthermore, I would say that if there ever were this completeness of experience, that would entail the cessation of reality. But I mean, what I'm telling you now basically is I'm proposing the cessation of reality, but not actually cessation. I'm proposing that it's never existed. It's never been real. I'm basically saying that there isn't any reality, but not. I'm not saying this in this like relativistic point that every being has their subjective viewpoint, and that there's no one objective reality, that there's just, you know, a multitude of perspectives, a multitude of relative realities. No, what I'm saying is there's no reality at all. And which obviously seems wrong, and it is, because for it to be right, that would have to be a manifestation of reality. That would have to be an aspect of reality for something to be true, you know. For an observation or a statement to be about, you know, about reality as a whole, like for a metaphysical statement to be true, it would therefore be an aspect of reality. It would represent the real. But this truth, you know, this idea of truth, I mean, it's the logical equivalent of the real or the complete, where for a truth that would be all encompassing like that, or to be would entail the cessation of the kind of the process of knowledge. And I'm describing knowledge as this process, because for knowledge to be an end, and rather than a process, I think this would disintegrate. I mean, it would disintegrate the distinction between knower and known, and then again you would have no reality. Like for a knower to know all of reality, would necessarily entail the disintegration of the separateness, like, and would entail the disintegration of the knowing. You know, there'd be no knowing, nor knower, nor known, and there'd be no reality. And I'm saying essentially there is no reality other than the incomplete or the wrong. Or the paradoxical. Or the limited. And even all of this that I'm saying is essentially wrong and limited. I mean, even I mean, this is like in a way so obviously apparent, even in the fact of me saying anything, or even for me to refer to the action of saying, implying the self who's saying, and implicitly referring to you who is hearing, and implicitly understanding. So referring to entities, at least discrete enough for there to be communication or even perception. However, you know, even by doing this though, like you and I, we're participating in wrongness, in a way that creates reality, which is kind of cool. I think this, like engaging in this impossibility of saying the right thing, or the engaging in this impossibility of having a complete understanding. And the farther you dig into anything, to me it seems more and more apparent the impossibility of any understanding, or that understanding itself, the notion of understanding being illusory, it being simply a drawing of boundaries and an inscribing of boundaries into a would-be whole in order to create some kind of reality. That because I mean, what I said before, that reality doesn't exist, that there is no reality at all, is obviously impossible. But also inevitable. I'm saying that there is no reality, and ordinarily then we would say, and yet it seems like there is, and yet it seems like there's this happening. It seems like there's this, that would be sort of a logical, that's what would seem to follow this statement of there's no reality. But I actually want to say that rather than and yet there's reality, I want to say there is no reality, and thus there's this. Or in other words, there's this because there's no reality, because there's nothing. There is something because there's nothing. There's this incompleteness and wrongness and limitedness. And specificity. Which exactly is the no reality. All this something, all the specificity of this something that seems to be experienced, and all this specificity of the experiencer, the shape of experience, the shape of experiencer, the shape of experienced, exactly is nothing. Which is totally unnecessary to say, because you might as well also describe nothing as something. And even for me to describe nothing at all, even for me to say the word nothing, or use the concept of nothing, is something. As in an aspect of experience. So when we perceive something, or when we are something, it's the same as not being anything. And this is not saying anything. What I'm saying is not saying anything. And so it's like I don't know, it's freaking cool is what I say. I mean, and it's messed up. Obviously. It's as in it's just, it's completely this is all completely paradoxical. That there is anything at all. That, I mean, it goes beyond saying, isn't it amazing to be alive? And even for how fucked up it can be to be alive, even for how painful and shitty it often is to be alive, I'm saying that the seeming fact at all of it, it seems like there's experience here. It seems like I'm alive, and it sure as hell seems like you're alive. I mean, as evidenced by your comprehension of these words, that's nuts. That's completely insane. And it's impossible, and it's inevitable. Like and there's this limitation that's inherent in there being something, obviously, inherent in being anything, inherent in identification or being alive, you know. So, like, of course, you know, you and I, we're having this human experience that is necessarily temporally limited in its specificity. That is, the specificity of what you are I mean, the perceived specificity, I mean, the continuity of self is an illusion. I mean, of course, like, you're not who you were a second ago, but death makes, makes it obvious that the specificity of your selfhood doesn't last. That it can't maintain any facade of continuity for very long. But this is completely necessary for there to manifest any kind of something, which is itself nothing. And as like I was saying, it's just insane. It's completely insane, and messed up. It's messed up. But it can't not be messed up, actually. You know? Like, it's inherently messed up in such a way that, you know, the messed upness is like the same as perfection or something. Or not the same, but they are inextricable from each other. Unity and separation, nothing and everything. And at the moment, I want to say I love it. You know, and it's like, not with the all the bullshit notwithstanding. I mean, it's serious how fucked up things are. It's no joke. Suffering, it's serious. I can't even fathom it, how much there is. I can't even fathom how much worse it could be. How much worse the suffering is, for a lot of other people than myself, I think. I'm pretty sure. So not that I can say anything that has any sort of implication, as far as I can tell. But I'm saying something that's basically not saying anything. That also amounts to saying that it is what it is. Obviously not saying anything. Like, I could have an experience of wonder or of expansive bewilderment or of awe or something, and I do, and I have, and I will, and then but then also that's not anything. Like that's all that is perfectly continuous with its opposite of boredom, of alienation, disgust, and all the varieties of dissatisfaction. That's all connected. And even and it's even all connected with the experience of things being disconnected in a shitty way. Of like, would-be implications of bewilderment. How come they're not aligning with having to get by? God damn it! How come they don't? How come the feeling of awe doesn't pay the bills? God damn it! Shit! How come it doesn't? How come it doesn't save me from aches and pains? How come it doesn't preclude me from getting into arguments with the people that I love? God damn it. that kind of disconnectedness, that kind of things not working, little ways in which things are messed up. And then how come it's so misaligned with how the world seems to operate, the human world and society? How come there's so much bad stuff? God damn it. How come it's so fucked up? And then, you know, I could say a bullshit answer or not. And this is equally bullshit. Like, you know how sometimes you're not listening to Walking and Talking or watching Walking and Talking? You know how Walking and Talking is only one aspect of your life? It's only one segment of time. And you know how there's and you know how like the totality of my recorded Walking and Talking and other YouTube videos doesn't account for my whole fucking life? Have you noticed that sometimes there are days when I don't make a long ass YouTube video? Well, you should know that that's as good as this. That is not having this category of experience that you're having. I mean, and now I'm doing something sneaky, which is like, I'm basically encompassing. I'm basically trying to encompass the rest of your life in my descriptions. I'm referring to the rest of your... I'm referring to the outside of Walking and Talking, for you and for me. And in this moment, I'm like capturing it. But actually, it's not real. But that's bullshit. You can say that about anything, obviously, that's not here and now. And then, you extend that to here and now is also not real, which I've done a lot of bullshit. And also, this description of what I'm doing as bullshit is itself a bullshit strategy of letting myself off the hook, or of attempting to deny accountability. But I know that I can't. I know that I'm responsible for this. But actually, you're responsible for this. I can't believe you. And here you are, continuing in this mode. Do I have to name it? Do I have to name this mode? Do I have to say out loud what you're doing right now? I mean, it's obvious to the both of us what's going on here. You're making all of this. You're doing this is you. You're doing this. You've been doing this the whole time. You thought I wouldn't notice. But I noticed. And I just want to say, that's messed up. What you're doing. And even now, as I'm talking about it, you're continuing to do it. You're doing this. You're doing this. It's messed up, but I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that's how the world works. And I understand that. You'll say, it's a messed up world. And you'll say, don't hate the player, hate the game. And then I'd say, well, maybe you wouldn't say hate the game. the infinite game. But you can't not play. You can't not. You can't not play, but also you're not playing. Also, there isn't any game or player. But eternal specificity. Eternal unceasing specificity, which means nothing. Like like I perceive beauty, and that's also pain. Perceiving beauty is also pain, because you can't have it ever. You can't get it. You can't keep it. Because the beauty is the beauty is like an advertisement for something that is beyond yourself. And is always going to be beyond yourself. Well, rather, is not possessible. Beauty is an advertisement for something that you can't possess. And then because as soon as you possess it, it's no longer beautiful. Even as soon as you know it, it's something. Beauty is a sign for something that you don't know. And if you were to know it, it wouldn't be there anymore. Like you can try to grasp the beautiful, and then you have to keep going. Or then you could also try not to grasp, but you also can't not. You could try not to know anything, but you can't not know anything. And you can't not know anything because you already don't know anything. Beauty is like a perception that's implying the absence of perception. But also, perception itself is already non-perception. As in, perception itself, in its specificity, excludes an infinity. Any specificity is excluding infinity. Like the specificity is infinitely minute. Effectively nothing. It is, yeah. every perception is an aspect of incompleteness. And that it's always begging to be known. And it's always not known enough. Not grasped enough. As if I see something and my experience of it as being beautiful is like a desire to merge with it. So it's also a feeling of the problematicness of being separate from it. But also it's not that. Also, how I said before, how it's implying the absence of perception. Like also perception is like contained within the field of aperception or non-perception. In the sense that perception is like drawing a line in the sand. Like drawing a line in the sand that you have two sides of. But fundamentally, there's not even a line. You know, I know it's really messed up. It's really messed up, but then, you know, it's pretty amazing. but completely normal. Like really normal. Insanely normal. Like there must be this possibility of things being really fucked up. The possibility for things to be really fucked up is inextricable from anything that we would refer to as good. I would say. But then, like the for there to be any possibility at all of things being like even okay seems to me incredible. But I don't know. I guess it isn't. I guess it isn't if the possibility of things being okay is inextricable from the possibility of things being fucked up. I suppose it balances out. This is just a dude sitting on a rock saying things that are either profound or stupid as hell. And yes, I'm tempted to claim the stupidity as it seems safer. Simply as in, I know that any feeling or thought of profundity will transform into its opposite of total inanity. So I'm tempted to preempt it and go straight for the inanity. Therefore, to avoid any signifiers of profundity. You know, especially that we have here of the geographical position of being above stuff, high above ground level. Of being able to see far. Being at least symbolically linked. With having the long view of things. I've even heard that there's some evidence that it's neurologically linked with having the long view of things, being able to see far. But there is no long view of things without also the short and limited view. There's no, without the minutiae and immediacy and proximate experience. There'd be no things over which to have the long view. So, sure, being high up, but also you want to get in there. You want to get down in there. Get up close and personal with individuation. Carnal desire. Pleasure. Whatever. I can't wait for it. I can't wait to go down and experience pleasure. I can't wait to experience pleasure. But I'm gonna wait by doing this, by talking to you. Like this. I'm gonna keep talking to you like this. It is I guess this is pleasure. I guess this is pleasure. Because I guess this is as pleasure as anything. I can't wait to go and experience the other type of pleasure. But it's also pleasurable to postpone it. I think this is pleasure. But it's also, I can't rightly call it pain. But it is a disequilibrium. But so is everything. It's always a disequilibrium. It always ain't right. This is wrong. What you and I are doing, this is wrong. But it feels so right. But it's wrong. Looking for pleasures and looking for disciplines is the same thing. This is sick. This is perverse. You and me, we're guilty. We're guilty of this. we're messing this up. I mean, this right now. Is this discipline or is this pleasure? Is this work? Could this be work? Are you and I working? Do you work? And I mean really work. I mean real work. Do you do real work? Is the work that you do real? Or is it fake? Is it fake? Is it fake? I mean, is this fake? Is this fun? Is this real fun? Do you have fun? Do you have... But is the fun that you have really fun? Do you really have fun? Do you have real fun? Do you really have fun? Is this fun that you have real? Or is it fake? Is the fun that you have fake? Have you been having fake fun? Can work be fun? Or must they be separate? If you work more, do you have more fun in the times when you have fun? If when you work, the work is real work, does that mean that when you have fun, you have real fun? Can work and fun happen at the same time? Or do they cancel each other out? If work is fun, is it still work? If having fun is work? Is it still fun? If the work that you do is fake, does it cause the fun that you have to be fake? In order to have fun, do you have to suffer? If you have to suffer to have fun, is it worth it to have fun? Does it all even out? When you do work, does it benefit others? Is the benefit to others real? Or is the benefit to others fake? In order for work to be real, must it benefit others? And must the benefit to others be real in order for the work to be real? Or can it also be fake and the work still be real? Can something be fun and benefit others? Or if something is fun, is the benefit to others fake? Or if something is fun, can there be no benefit in order for it to be fun? In order for something to be fun, must it be non-beneficial? Are things more fun when they are less beneficial? Can things be beneficial and fun? Is there any benefit that is real? Is benefit itself real? Or is it fake? If benefit is fake, is it a problem? Or is it okay? To do fake beneficial things? If benefit is fake, does it make things easier? Is it easier to work and easier to have fun? Keeping in mind that benefit is fake. If indeed benefit is fake. Could benefit be conditionally and provisionally real, but ultimately fake? If benefit is provisionally fake, provisionally real, that is, but ultimately fake, does that mean work can be provisionally real, but ultimately fake? Is pleasure real? Or is pleasure fake? Could pleasure also be provisionally real but ultimately fake? Could the provisional reality of pleasure be more pleasurable or more provisionally real? When grounded in the ultimate fakeness of it? Can one simultaneously be in the ultimate fakeness of things and be in the provisional realness of things? Is this real or is this fake? Is this fake? Is this fake? I can't wait to experience pleasure. I can't wait for things to be anything but what they are. But fortunately, things will always be anything but what they are. I want things to be anything but this. That's what I want. Anything but this. But luckily, things are anything but this. Things aren't this. Which is lucky for you and I. I'm lucky that I'm fake. And I feel really happy for you in that you're fake. Congratulations. It truly is a privilege. And an honor. This is not even. This can't even be. This can't be. There's so much beauty, it's destroying itself. It's disgusting, really. Get rid of this now. We can't have this. We can't be having this. We can't be having this. It says all gotta go. Yeah. This isn't gonna fly. Don't let them know you're fake. At least don't acknowledge it. It can pass unacknowledged. Anyhow, You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm talking about. You know how it's like this, but it seems like it could be otherwise. And that could still be fine. Like this could not be what it is. Like this you and I are perfectly ready to not be having this experience. But we're relishing that state. We love this, you and me. I'm practically crying tears of ambivalence. Hell, maybe. Hell, maybe. Like intensity by way of quantity. or a large quantity of something mediocre. Intense mediocrity. Forcibly inventing significance. Out of nothing. I can't wait to experience pleasure. You need to snap out of it. You need to drop this. You need to knock this off. You need to stop what you're doing. You should really be more like me. You need to stop what you're doing and be like me. Because then things would be better. All right, I'm just gonna talk normally now. I'm gonna start talking normally. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being weird. I'm going back to normal, and I'm gonna talk from my true self. Like a normal human. Because I value this time we have. It's me now. It's me. This is me now. I'm not working. I should be working. It should be less fun. Or should it? I should be more exposed. By saying more words. Saying more words per minute. Increasing my words per minute is currently my goal. However, whoa! Increasing the quantity, but without sacrificing quality. That's my assurance, my guarantee. You get a lot of, from now on, you'll get more words at a higher quality than from anywhere else. Because they'll be more real. It hurts. It hurts me. But it's my pleasure and my honor to make words for you. And I have a plan. For increasing my word quantity without sacrificing quality. This involves walking more and returning to speaking with a professional mindset. Professional as in this is about delivering words to you on a regular basis, at a regular rate that's fairly predictable and reliable. And is I'm going to be foregoing any form of self-indulgence from now on in my speaking. That is, the speaking that I'm doing now is purely for you. And is free from any self-interest other than the pleasure that I derive from serving you. And the speaking that I'm doing now, you can rely on to be professional and like quality assured by sort of like a procedural standards of quality from an experienced professional. And you know of my experience by the quantity of talking that I have published so far, and by the number of satisfied viewers and listeners who return time and again to the person they trust. And not only is what I'm saying based on a sound procedures of speaking, it's also tailored to your needs. And designed to do, to bring you the deepest type of benefit. In fact, I guarantee you that if you listen to what I say for long enough, you will have a good experience. I guarantee it. In fact, I ask you to examine your experience now and assess your level of satisfaction with it. With this experience you're having right now, because these are the words that I'm saying and that you're hearing, that you're receiving, that I'm making for you. And I do actually highly suspect in fact, I'm fairly confident that your experience right now is a positive one. And even if you don't perceive it as a positive one, it may in fact be benefiting you. In the long term. It may not be completely apparent at first. You may doubt whether this is valuable. But I assure you it is. I can't wait to experience pleasure. However, returning to my desire for quantity, this isn't my desire. This is to better serve you with a higher density of words. I'm gonna work harder here. I'm gonna concentrate more on saying things at a faster rate that aren't completely repetitive either. but I perceive difficulty. That is, I'm being fake. I've been shying away from difficulty here, and I'm experiencing this. I'm experiencing this as inadequacy of quantity and of continuity and of concentration, having to do with what could be interpreted either as a fatigue or difficulty in focusing and maintaining a continuity of speaking, and also of succumbing somewhat to a relatively nonverbal mode of speaking, which you may have perceived in the prior time that had relative silence interspersing, interspersed with various interjections with varying degrees of logic or illogical. But also now I'm distracted by the presence of people in real life, and I'm in this problematic state where I'm struggling to maintain the relatively privileged boundaries of the experience of walking and talking to you in relative real life solitude. And coming into this dissonance between this type of activity and normal social, my normal social behavior, in the sense that I feel ridiculous walking around alone talking to a camera when imagining myself through the eyes of others, that probably has some relation to ideas about presence and sociability and technology and distraction and internet era narcissism and so on and so forth. Creating a type of separation, if you will, or extra type of separation between myself and the IRL people. Not exactly a separation, but that I'm having an interaction that they're sort of excluded from, or something, or at a farther remove from. because I'm talking to you. But anyhow, remember when I was talking so much about things of the nature of it not being a problem, or having problems not being a problem? Well, that was like earlier when maybe some could say that we were being influenced by the grandeur and freshness of characteristics of experience. That is, it could be said that the specific characteristics, the specific conditions, the temporal and spatial conditions were conducive to the type of mindset that at least seems to be relative to have a relatively transcendent viewpoint on even the nature of specificity of experience, and feels very accepting of everything, inclusive of the state of non-acceptance. So in some sense, something that is not here, an experience of the recent past, ostensibly is accepting of the experience of the present that is at least kind of like temperamentally dissonant and not completely accepting. As in, there's like what I would describe as this feeling of an intrusive normalcy, that, or an unwelcome like you could call it a return to a quote-unquote more normal or socially oriented state of mind. Or maybe what might seem to feel like a more fragmented state of mind, but which has a type of familiarity to it. But I mean, what are the conditions that are there particular characteristics of this experience that might be contributing towards a slight feeling of dissonance or heightened problematicness relative to a perceived recent past that from the current perspective might be characterized as like relatively at home in a relatively groundless way of thinking. But even when I say that, I realize that that's an incorrect characterization of the past, and it is in fact simply a very reduced projection into the past, and is even very kind of wrapped up with a certain like emotional rejection of the present. And the question of, also there's this question of, if the current speaking is affected by like a relative distraction or fragmentation, or feeling of struggling or flailing or searching for direction or for stillness or stability, or even grasping for a particular form of instability, even that is perceived as desired, then there's the question of is this a bad type of speaking? And projecting into the relatively recent past that I'm mistakenly characterizing as deeply accepting, from that perspective, this should be deeply accepted. Even the quote-unquote undesirable aspects of the way that I am talking or have been talking in the past several minutes or so, from a certain projected other mind state, should be accepted. And then based upon that, there's the question of, is it possible to incorporate this projected other perspective of acceptance into something that's closer to the present perspective, and have that modify my relation to the perceived present experience such that it changes to one of relative acceptance. But then, of course, that whole premise is kind of flawed in that it is constructing a hierarchy whereupon this idea of acceptance of a present is preferenced over non-acceptance, and therefore this that preference itself is a type of non-acceptance, and thus you have this very common sort of paradox or problem. But as looking at this now, it's interesting in that there appears to be this other possible perspective to take, that is observing and conceiving of this entire frame of thinking as paradoxical, as I just mentioned, in which that perspective itself is one that is not necessarily so invested in this acceptance versus non-acceptance dichotomy. As if this dichotomy of acceptance versus non-acceptance is possible to resolve, if you will, into something that seems to encompass both but not actually resolve. It's like their opposition can persist and does persist, but also not. And something I would say now is that in a sense, I have been equating the problematized way of speaking, that is emotionally problematized, and that the thinking itself seems very tied up with say a physiological tension, and therefore the verbal / conceptual, and on the one hand, and the sensual, emotional on the other hand, seem to operate in a feedback loop, if you will, or they're operating in a way that's completely, that's totally connected with each other, and therefore creating this cycle of physiological tension experienced as emotional discomfort, and conceptual rejection of the form of conceiving as it's happening. And so that whole phenomenon I have been equating with an unwelcome form of normalcy. But then it seems like in simply continuing in that cycle, which maybe in some ways seemed inevitable, or as if on one hand I could describe it as involving my intention and my will, or my agency to continue in that cycle or mode, or however you want to describe it. Or I could describe it as simply something that's simply happening in a more deterministic sort of fashion. I don't think it's actually one or the other. However, the continuity of this perceived unwelcome normalcy, and in a way that I could also describe as delving deeper into it, has afforded me also an alternate experience of this mode of experiencing, which is in fact another form of bewilderment, I would say. So for instance, I've been sitting where I am and saying and narrating my thoughts, and, you know, reflexively analyzing them in various ways. And I can kind of like perceive or feel something like a duration of time that's been going on for. And it's a duration of time in which is becoming to be characterized by a continual turning over of thoughts, or continual analysis of the thoughts that are happening. And when I start to actually feel that feeling of the continuous like investigation or whatever, it actually seems like it is not something that's different from whatever would be projected absence of tension, or projected absence of the problem of thinking, or the projected absence of the problem of being compelled to speak. I mean, it's a self-compulsion, obviously. Or as if a merging of the valence of my experience as difficulty, and the valence of it as being like full of wonder and ease, as if like on the one hand, if it's like I'm tempted to like recall past parts of this video even as being this like bewilderment flowing from reality to a perceiver, but then obviously that's wrong, and that's a misremembering of it, and that's a mischaracterization of what it supposedly was. And then also, furthermore, I realized that even the supposed act of remembering it is always wrong. Or if remembering any part of this is not real, but is a creation of sorts. And that seems very apparently true at the moment. That I realize any time that I indulge in this activity of remembering a past part of this video, or a past, any past like segment or past experience or feeling or way of thinking, that that memory is an incorrect. It is just a construction in the present. And now I'm like, feel as if I'm seeing clearly the role that type of construction plays in creating and upholding the types of dichotomies and hierarchies that divide up and shape my experience in ways that let's just say that in ways that are also seemingly highly connected with my emotional experience of whether I seem to be feeling in like a tense, constricted type of experience, or an expansive type of emotional experience. Whereas the expansive type of emotional experience, in a sense, could also be described as like an absence, actually, of discrete emotions, or that could be described as a permeability, let's say, of physiological experience, and of sensual experience, and a permeability of conceptual experience. As opposed to what I would describe as the feeling of a contraction of experience, both sensually and conceptually, that where the disequilibrium is felt more strongly. The feeling that that there is an agent here that needs to change something, that something about this needs to change, and therefore the experience of being individuated, that is, an agent who has the possibility of changing something, emerges more. Now, of course, this is you may be thinking to yourself that this is, in one sense, a very single-sided interpretation of things, in the sense that they could also be interpreted in the terms of the external factors, external world. And this is true. They can just as well be described in terms of external factors. For instance, an expansive state of mind being concurrent with, relative geographical solitude, and ascension and altitude, and expansion of the vista. And then the relatively disequilibrious or contracted, or like agentic, needing to change experience being concurrent with simply external factors contributing to distraction, that is, more people around, which would, trigger an agentic consciousness of oneself in relation to those people in real life. Whereas the object of focus for this activity, however implicit or explicit, is this verbal verbal activity between the myself and you, and the mode, and this particular mode of relation between myself and you, wherein inevitably the you that I refer to is one that is heavily generalized in my mind, and because from my perspective, you are the you that I am addressing in a sense is unspecific. I mean, specific enough to be willing to listen to this for as long as you have, which already this is actually, you are actually a very specific type of person. And in this way, like, relating in some sense to a fairly specific aspect of myself. But in another sense, you and I are relating in this instance in a very abstract space, and which I'm kind of thinking of it as a very a special affordance, an affordance, like this is the way that this way that we are relating is made possible by like very particular circumstances of the world. And by the technology and society and so forth that would be less afforded, and would be like other conditions, other ways of other material means of interacting, and other social contexts of interacting would not be conducive to this type of interaction, but they would be conducive to other types of interactions that would engage different characteristics of you and I. Or, for instance, you and other people, for that matter. Or me and other people, for that matter. Or between other people, for that matter. Between other people and other people, for that matter. But, and now I just want to remark that something that seems interesting about the present moment is that I can once again perceive of a certain, I can conceive or represent to myself of a certain duration of time that contains a certain set of thoughts. And when I try to represent the general characteristics of this set of thoughts to myself in this present moment, in all the specificity and kind of proximate time of each of those, of the smaller segments of this train of thought or set of thoughts, one does seem to flow to the other fairly naturally or logically, or without any glaring non sequiturs, at least for the sort of like segment of time that I'm imagining, or imagining / recalling, as I described earlier about it. This recalling is also constructive. But in general, that once again, the general nature of this set of thoughts has this continual movement or transience, and each thought actually does seem to keep generating another one that is new in a way, but in its in the continuity between one thought and another thought, we wouldn't imagine something new being generated or created, because the continuity is there and you're just ostensibly just exploring what's already there. However, when looking upon the breadth and variety of thought, it does seem as if there's something being created, and but this idea of creation is interesting, because if I sort of think logically about, okay, who or what is doing the creation, the first thought would be that it's me creating these thoughts, like one after the other. And in a certain interpretation of things, you could say that that's true. But then if this me is to... this agent of me, this agent that is me, it's implied here that there's this continuity of agency that is doing all the creating. However, the agent is also like I also am experiencing the difference of each thought, or I'm experiencing each thought arising. And if I'm witnessing this thought, and it is sensible to me as something that is new and in the present. I mean, new as in occurring in the present, and not something that was like pre-existing or pre-formed. Then how can it be that I created it? You know what I'm saying? Like the idea that I created it, I guess, is sort of implying like an agent that already, in some sense, has this thought within it, or within me, at least in potentiality. But that seems that doesn't seem like a very, that doesn't seem to totally coordinate with experience. It's like it's more, it seems maybe more accurate to say something like this agent that is me saying these things is being kind of like continually generated as a byproduct, if you will, of the thoughts themselves, or that they're kind of like constitutive, co-evil. And then, so that leads me to wonder about you also, like, as a listener, like, ostensibly, like, you are listening and like receiving and understanding these words and whatever meaning they might contain, or but then I also sort of wonder if this perceiving you is also kind of being continuously created. I mean, that's one way of interpreting. I'm doing plenty of talking at this point, but admittedly not much walking. But that seems actually conducive to talking at the moment. What a strange type of like continuity this has when I think of it. Like the character of voice that is occurring now versus what I can remember. Quite a difference, although, you know, just like apparently gradually changing, or changing with at every moment. A type of continuity, a form of continuity from moment to moment. And then in the perceived agglomeration of ways of thinking, a lot of contrast and variety of modes, at least in my own, you know, self assessment. I imagine that you would maybe be more suited to perceive the patterns and commonality and a sameness of this thinking. You know, as is usually the case. But then again, I mean, that's kind of like just that's kind of just like restating the quality of like subjectivity and distance. But as in, you know, like this is necessarily only one component, one object in from your perspective, or one part of the contents of your subjectivity. And even in the nature of perception and conception, there's not total coherence between my experience and your experience of me. Of course. I mean, it's the most obvious. That's like the definition of individuation. But then, but like, that's not even really what I ever intended this to be about anyways. I mean, that, like like every word that I'm saying, everything that I'm saying, and even everything that I'm talking about, even, apparently talking about, doesn't even feel like the object, but it is an object. It's creating an object that, like, you know, in my most idealistic naively idealistic way of thinking would be something implicating the common aspect of, quote unquote, my subjectivity and your subjectivity, and like, I sort of think that when you strip away, when you strip it down to what is common between our subjectivities, then you actually just have something that is the same thing, or unified. But that's, I basically just, that's basically a tautology that I just said, which I guess is fine. Sorry, a little camera malfunction there. You see this you look at this amount of recorded media, and it seems like people take that to be like an entire, like my entire life, as if there's nothing outside of it. And I mean, maybe it's just like people come across the YouTube channel and see an amount of time represented that seems like a lot, and then but it's basically what I'm saying is that an implication of the inseparability of the phenomena of unity and individuation is that it's nice to interact with people in our individuation, to see the difference, I think. I don't know. I mean, you see the difference and you see the sameness. In like they're in a way the same thing, as in you are, by seeing the ways that people are different from you, it's like that differentiation in itself is inextricably part of the human experience and could be thought of as unifying if you want to. I mean, this is kind of a nothing type of statement if you think about it. Doesn't exactly have implications, I don't think. I mean, maybe you could, but you could draw implications from that, but they'd be fake. But as I said before, we're lucky to be fake. I'm appreciative of this particular technological social affordance that allows this mode of communication, if you want to call it that, that allows for us. I mean, allows for me to communicate in this abstract mode and in real time, quote unquote, to let this abstraction relate and interact with quote unquote real-time experience. And to interact with like the modes of thinking that are related to talking. And related to a sensual experience. Where these things can inform each other. Whereas it's, like there's a dialogue, if you will, between the sensual and the conceptual. And they really are connected to each other. I do think that they are, I don't know. Like it's very strange. I could be completely narcissistic and like this activity could be like the very picture of mental unwellness emblematic of our time. But at the same time, I really like it. Like it, like for me, it, in my life, like interacting this way, like abstractly removed, mediated, not only through the internet, but you know, through this, you know, totally profit-oriented platform that is bent on, you know, selling your attention to advertisers. That's, I mean, that's the whole MO of it. And yet, like within that fucked up context, there's something afforded here that's like might otherwise not be as afforded. That, you know, in some way, like if you want to be a bastard, be a jerk about it, it's like something seems to be escaping. Something seems to be escaping this market logic that seems so incredibly destructive. But even me saying that, I feel like that's too simplified. I don't know. And then, but then, like doing this, like contrasts the more in-person life, which is, you know, most of the time. It might not look like it at first thought, but the vast majority of time I'm not making a YouTube video. But inside and outside of this frame relate to each other in a way that I somehow find to be like a rich or productive divide. And so, in other words, I can't wait to experience pleasure. And I can't wait for you to experience pleasure. You're going to love it. You're going to love experiencing pleasure. Believe me. You're going to like pleasure. I'm excited for you. The problem is, as soon as I start walking, I stop talking. For some reason, I'm not talking, and then I'm kind of grasping for the next thing to say, as if, with for some reason, some kind of idea that I'm going to say something wise, and then I realize that I'm not going to say something wise. But I have to whiz. Like, again, the duration of this mode is becoming felt, as in, it's as if this has gone on awkwardly long. Do you ever have this sense, for instance, that you're hanging out with someone, and even though you like each other, you're friends, and you like each other perfectly well, that this hangout session has just worn out its effectiveness, and it's time for it to end. And so that's kind of like what this is like, except I purposely make myself keep going, even though it has been time for it to end, perhaps even as soon as it started, perhaps even before it started, that it's too long. It's sick is what it is. Like, you gotta believe me, I genuinely like you. But I'm tired, you know, of this for now, for today. Let me put that better. I like you, but I can't wait to experience pleasure. The other type of pleasure. Of specificity and of the sensuality of returning the other aspects of my corporal being to equilibrium. That is eating and drinking and relaxing and just talking about specific concrete stuff rather than all this abstraction. And you can't wait for this to end either. But you love, and I can infer this simply by your hearing of this, that you love to get to this point of not being able to wait to experience pleasure. You done good. You're a hard worker. You've earned it. You're gonna love pleasure. Well, you still gotta wait. You still gotta wait a little. You gotta wait a little bit longer. It's ridiculous. It's like, you know, when you're like working and you're like, what is the point of this? What's the point of me being here? That's what this is. You and me. You ever get this sensation? You're working and you're like, why am I here and why are the other people here? No one wants to be here. No one wants to be doing this. That's what this is. I mean, at this particular juncture. I mean, I know I'm making a bold claim here. I may be being presumptuous, but it's true. I mean, it's true in the sense of we are, you and I are experiencing the questioning of why are we still here, doing this, doing this thing. What's the point? And we're gonna keep pushing that for a little bit longer. In anticipation, it's a payoff, at the end. It's the payoff. Malacca. I mean, we're hedonistic, you could say. That you and I are looking for this reward where, you've really endured something pointless but not particularly harmful as far as we can tell. And then once it's over, just everything normal is like so welcome. All the normal shit that might have normally been boring and taken for granted tastes good. But carnal, carne vale. That's kind of what this has been like, we've been to some extent I don't know. I can't wait to be incarnated again. I mean, it's not really again. I mean, this is I'm really just like filling up time. You can go if you want. you're dismissed. I mean, unless you really want to go the extra mile for the next 5 minutes. Maybe the payoff is a few percentage points larger. I mean, this is my problem sometimes, is lagging in energy at the very end. But this isn't a spirit of including the varieties of experience, and I'm being closed in by humans, which is much less of a problem once I put down this goddamn camera. This is ridiculous. This is like my bullshit job that I don't get paid for. I mean, it kind of makes the regular bullshit job more appealing. But forgive me, I'm fading. You can ignore this, and for that matter, you can ignore all the rest. This is the type of thing that I really should never look back. I should really never watch these videos. Anytime I watch one of these videos, I just am mortified in self-disgust. And I can just, I can imagine this one also. I can imagine my future self being so disgusted by my present self as represented in this recording. But as long as I just never listen to it and don't think about it again, it's fine. All right, I'm calling it. Bye.